Hello, students. This is video number 6 in the Thank You, Ma'am series. We're going to talk about the selection review. So this is probably the assignment that I've had the most students, message me about to say that they don't understand. So I want to go over, this chart and what this means. So by this time you've read Thank You, Ma'am. You know about Mrs. Jones, you know about Roger, you know about the choices that she makes. If you haven't, then go back and listen to it or go back in the selection and read it. And, it's a pretty short story and it's one of my favorites. So, circumstances was one of our vocabulary words. So, if you don't know what the word circumstances means, go back to the very beginning of the packet, right? The very first page, and then it's there, okay? So, look it up, okay? If you don't know what it means, look it up. All right, so we're going to go back to the last section of that, okay? Okay. So when you think about Mrs. Jones' circumstances, this is where you have to do a lot of inferencing, right? So an inference is like an educated guess. It's an assumption you make based on evidence from the text. So you're not just guessing out of thin air, like, well, I don't know, maybe she's a millionaire. Like, she's not. You have to look at what's in the section and say, okay, well, I think I can assume based on this and this and this that these are her circumstances. So what do we know about Mrs. Jones? It says she's a big woman. It says that she's walking home late at night at 11 o'clock at night by herself. So later in the story, it says that she makes dinner. So maybe she's coming home from work, right? Maybe she works a late shift at the grocery store, or maybe she's a nurse, or, we don't really know a lot about her, but where was she going at 11 o'clock at night? She offers to wash his face for him. So, she cares. So do your best to make an assumption about her circumstances. Does she have a job? Is she a caring person? Does she have anyone else that lives with her when she takes Roger back to her apartment? No. Maybe she's got grown kids. Maybe she's a grandma. Maybe she never got married and she never has any kids and she's lonely. Like, these are all things you could say based on the evidence in the story. Okay. And then her choices. She had a lot of choices when Roger tried to steal her purse. Okay. What did she decide to do? And especially this is kind of like, what's unique about her that she decided to do? Instead of being angry at him, how did she treat Roger? Okay. What were her choices? So put that there, okay? Roger's circumstances. So the part that I already talked about where she asks him, ain't you got nobody at home to wash your face for you? And he says no. Okay, what does that tell us about him? Either he's homeless or maybe his parents aren't home a lot. Maybe his mom works, the midnight shift and he's just out running the streets at 11 o'clock at night. So what are his circumstances? Why does he say he needs the money? Okay. And then what does he choose to do? Now, Roger actually changes over the course of this story. In the beginning, he's making one choice, right? He's choosing to steal her purse. He's choosing to steal. But then when she takes him home, she feeds him, she leaves him alone in the living room. He could escape, he could steal again. He doesn't decide to do that, right? So, what are his choices at the end, and how does he change as the story progresses? Okay. So, this is what you think here. Why do you think Mrs. Jones made the choice to help Roger? Okay. And then how could Roger's circumstances change because of Mrs. Jones? So he might be on a certain path if he's stealing and robbing at, whatever age. Maybe her kindness actually made him reevaluate that. Maybe he changed a little bit. So how can his circumstances change? And this is kind of just all in your head. You just have to, give good reasons for why you think that. Okay. How might Roger's choices be different in the future? Again, we'll never know because the story doesn't continue from there. This is just your opinion. Think about if you were Roger or if someone reminds you of Roger, right? If someone treats them with kindness and understanding and empathy instead of judgment, does that have a good effect on them? Maybe it doesn't fix somebody's entire life, but maybe it affects them in a good way, right? So that is the last Thank You Ma'am story or assignment for Thank You Ma'am. Next, we're going to be moving on to juvenile justice. So this was a fiction text. This is a made up story, right? The next thing we're going to talk about is nonfiction. This is real life. Again, if you have any questions, please email me at emily.knight@topeftrailhigh.org. And thank you for joining me. All right. Bye-bye.